to the daily dose of the Dutch and Denver podcast. I am Dutch. I am in or around Denver, and it's Friday, January 20th, man. And we are going to do. Oh, camera's off just a little bit. You can't see all the stickers. Better. Okay. We did a little cleaning today, so things are off. Um, yeah, here's the daily dose. I hope you guys had fun last night. Higgins and I went on for it was kind of a long podcast, like 2 hours. Um, like I said, I hope everyone enjoyed it. And like, subscribe, do that kind of fun shit. Tonight, though, we have to talk about things that are real. And if I already said this stuff, just listen again. Okay, so off the top, Alec Baldwin's being charged. Okay. So if you guys remember, like 15 months ago, he shot and killed someone. That's absolutely what happened. I don't care how you phrase it. Well, was that a movie set? Nope. He shot and killed someone. Okay. Albeit accidentally. Maybe. He shot and killed someone. Okay. That's what Alec Baldwin did. He shot a person and they died as a result of him shooting them. So he shot and killed someone. He murdered someone. Okay. He may not have planned it, but he took a human life. Okay. Quit beating around the bush about this shit. He shot and killed someone. If you don't remember, what happened was he was on a movie set, and I don't know what happened, but a live round got into a prop gun, and he pulled the trigger, and the bullet went off and killed that person. Now, he's being charged with involuntary manslaughter, which is like 18 months in jail. Unless it gets a gun charge, a weapons charge, then it could be 5 years. I hope you nail him to the wall on this. Also, the armorer, she's negligent. Okay, she should probably get the 18 months. He should get the 5 years. He killed someone, and he didn't accidentally. I mean, okay, he accidentally killed someone, but the accident was because of his own negligence. Okay, and this is what I'm going to explain to you guys. If you've shot 100 guns or 1 gun or 0 guns, I will tell you the number one and number one rule of firearms. A, treat every gun as if it were loaded and ready to fire. Treat every gun as if it were loaded. Ooh, no, let me tell you the first thing about firearm safety. A, treat every single gun as if it were loaded. A, again, never point the gun at something you don't intend to shoot. And A, again, check if the gun's if someone hands you a gun, you need to check if it's loaded. Okay, that's like the absolute first thing you do. Okay, if you're at your buddy's house and they're like, "Hey man, I got a new handgun," and they show it to you, they hand it to you, um, they present it in a case, it's on the table, whatever. You always check if there's a bullet chambered. Okay, if there's a round chambered. Um, ooh, I don't care. It seems like we're doing good. Yeah, we're rolling. Okay. So those are the rule. Those are like the most important things about gun safety. Okay, there's all of them are very important, but those are the important ones. Well, they're all important. Those are the top three. Let's put it that way. Now, what happened with Alec Baldwin is he was handed a gun that he did not check if there was a live round in there, and so I guess what they were doing is they were trying to like set up a shot, okay, where he points the gun at the camera. I don't even think they were doing the shot. I think they were setting it up. So A, B, C, D, all the way through X, Y, Z. He probably should have been using like an actual prop gun, like a piece of wood, a rubber gun, or something, just to set up a shot. A, if the shot was just pointing the gun at the camera, why'd you pull the trigger? I mean, why? No need for that. Also, guns don't go off unless you pull the trigger. Nope, they don't lay there and just go off. I'm sorry. Even if you drop, I've heard people drop them and they still don't go off. So you have to pull the trigger. Okay. Now there might be an anecdote where you dropped it and went it off, but it just doesn't sit on a table and go off, or it just doesn't sit in a hand and go off unless you pull the trigger. So, uh, he pulled the trigger and killed someone. Now we can go into the details of it. Yes, there was an armorer, and it's the armorer's job to check the guns, blah, 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 all that. That's why she's also being charged. But I don't care if 55 people have checked that gun and I watched all 55 of them do it, and I'm the last guy in line, I'm 56. When 55 hands me that gun, I'm going to check if there's a bullet in the chamber. Okay? That's just what you do. And if you're not familiar with that procedure, A, you shouldn't ever touch a gun. B, you shouldn't ever touch a gun. C, you shouldn't ever touch a gun. D, you shouldn't ever, you know where I'm going with this. If someone hands you a firearm, whether it's real or fake, check if there's a bullet chambered. Secondly, on the most basic of things, because from what I understand, they were out in the middle of the desert. Some people brought some real guns and some live ammunition. So you're out in the desert, shoot around a little bit, have a good time, fine. How the hell the live ammunition got mixed in with the duds is beyond me. Probably the armorer's fault. Okay. Um, I don't know what else to say to that. Like, how did we even get here that he picked up we had multiple people check this gun, or they didn't, and that's probably the problem. They were negligent. Okay. No one checked if there was live ammunition in this gun. And I'm sorry, if you just don't check, that's not an excuse. You killed a human being. Now, it's been on the talk shows and stuff like that, and a couple of live new people texted in, and one asshole was like, I'm a gun owner, and I don't check every time. It's like, okay, you're a piece of shit. Fuck you. Like, that doesn't make it better. And then other people were like, do you expect Alec Baldwin to check the chamber every time he's handed a gun in between cuts? Yes! Yes! I expect that if someone hands you a deadly weapon, you should make sure that it's not deadly. I absolutely expect that from you. I mean, I don't know what to. I don't get this. And again, if you're unfamiliar with procedures with guns, A, learn. B, learn. C, learn. D, don't ever touch a gun. E, don't F, never. Come on. Jesus Christ. I mean, if my own mother had a gun and I watched her check the chamber, then she hands me it, I'm still going to check the chamber. Okay? And I'm not going to point it at a camera to get a shot and pull the trigger. There was no reason for that. So yes, he is absolutely liable for this. Nail his ass to the wall. And if you disagree, it's because you're wrong and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Which, is okay, but it's annoying. Super duper duper annoying. But yeah, I mean, I hope they nail him to the wall and the girl, the armor chick, she's only 24. Um, and I'm sorry that this happened to her, but you're just as culpable. Again, how the hell did live rounds get mixed in with blanks? I mean, this is just, I guess they were all playing fast and loose, and yeah, someone died because of it. You all need to be punished as much as you possibly can be. Okay, moving on. Let's see. Where should we go from here? This is a small story. Okay, so in Colorado, where I live, um, we obviously have the Broncos, and we have a certain amount of wildlife. You'd be like, Dutch, where are you going with this? Well, I'll explain to you. There's an ex Bronco player. His name's Derek Wolf, who posted pictures today on Instagram or Facebook or I don't fucking know of him like holding a mountain lion that he killed with a bow and arrow. Um, I guess he had all the proper permits and things like that. Okay. What was his reasoning? The mountain lion was terrorizing the neighborhood. Now I haven't dove like real deep into this because I was irritated from the beginning. Um, the counties they mentioned, or the county, it sounds like they were living in the mountains. And if believe it or not, mountain lions live in the mountains. And I'm pretty sure those mountain lions have lived there longer than people have. Maybe not that particular one, but generations of mountain lions tend to live in the fucking mountains. And if you move your settlement into their area and they're killing your dogs and stuff for food, I mean, predator prey, that's your goddamn fault. Watch out for your dogs. That and I'll admit I don't know the full story, but from what I heard, again, they said it was a mountain lion terrorizing a neighborhood, and he went and tracked it with his bow and arrow and killed it. And I'm going with you're in his land, take care of your own property, don't shoot the mountain lion. Okay? So, and I know people argue and be like, well, hunters, or population control. We don't have a mountain lion population problem. Okay? I'm all on board for that with deer and things like that. And bears, if you get a bear tag or something like that, awesome. Okay? I'm very pro hunting. However, am not pro if a wild animal comes into your neighborhood and you're a mountainous neighborhood for you hunting it down and killing it. Okay? I'm sorry. Now, if you live in this downtown Denver, yeah, we should probably do something about that mountain lion because he's very far away from home. But if you live on land in the mountains, in the woods, and a mountain lion is eating your shit, you know, fucking deal with it. And I know people will be like, well, Dutch, what about the wolves? And if you guys aren't familiar with the wolves, Colorado voters voted initiative to reintroduce, I think, the gray wolf into Colorado, which, um, again, I'm torn. Was it in Colorado when we eradicated it because it ate livestock and stuff? I mean, a lot of people argue too, like, well, they hurt ranchers and stuff. Okay, well, there's not many ranchers in the fucking Rocky Mountains. They're all out east, and I'm not sure that wolves really live out on the prairie. And if they do, that's a like a thing of progress. That why were they pushed down to the prairie? Is that just their habitat? Now we have to break a couple eggs to make an omelet. Okay, so maybe the gray wolf doesn't belong on the prairies. If we can keep it in the mountains, fine. And then you just need to be a diligent rancher if you're in the mountains. That's different though. That's a food source for us and them. I don't know where I stand on that. I'm tend to side with the wolves. Okay. As for the mountain lion thing, I'm 100% on the mountain lion side. You should have never shot him or hunted him with your bow and arrow because you're an asshole and you decided you want to live in the mountains and you're just going to execute all the crap that's on your property. That's interfering. That'd be like, the deer eat my flowers, so might as well just start blowing the deer away. Well, no, I live, kind of in the woods, and that's where the deer live. And we've tried to coexist with the deer, and I don't mind that they eat. I mean, I mind that they eat the flowers, but I wish my dog wasn't useless and didn't make friends with them, which he does. And I wish he ran them off. That doesn't kill them or injure them. They just don't eat my decorative flowers. There's plenty of food. They just flowers are, low hanging fruit sometimes. Um, I've talked about making a wild strawberry patch this year, good for the bees and for us. And I thought make it big enough that the deer can have some, we can have some, the bees can have the flowers, the rabbit, everybody, we kind of coexist. But if I plant this giant patch and the deer decide that they're going to eat everything, I'm not going to go out there with a gun and blast the deer. Now I know the deer aren't eating the dog. Okay, but we do have bears around here. Sure, we have mountain lions, and I don't vigilantly do this because they're few and far between. But if there's a bear around digging in trash cans and stuff like that, it's your duty as a homeowner living in the location that we live to take your trash out in the morning. Don't leave it out overnight. Your solution is don't go shoot the damn bear. You fucking idiot. So yeah, fuck you, Derek Wolf. You're a moron. Okay? I had to get that out. Let's see. Everybody's really pissed at Tony Dungy. I don't know if you know who he is, but he's an ex NFL coach. He was the coach of the Colts for a while, and now he's a commentator. And he made a comment that he's gonna do the Right to Life March today, which every year on January 20th, a bunch of people go to Washington D.C. and protest abortion. Okay, they don't burn anything down. They don't storm any capitals. They don't fuck shit up. They just do a march and a protest for the right to end abortion. Or just, they want to end abortion. I won't call it a right. Because I don't even want to get into that mess. And Tony Dungy says, I'm going to go down there and do this. He has now been labeled as a right-wing extremist. Okay, he'll probably get fired from NBC or CBS, whoever the fuck he works for, which is unfortunate because, he has the right to, but CBS also has a right to fire him over it. It's just, I didn't know that standing up for, the life of a child is considered to be extremist, right-wing extremist. And over the years, I haven't really changed my stance on abortion. I still think that, well, here, Bill Burr put it best, and I think I've said it before, but if you want to, if you're in favor of abortion, fine, whatever. Okay, you're still killing a baby, though. Okay, so like, I don't care if you want to legalize it or not. Let's call it what it is, and that's what it is. So it's, in my opinion, it's wrong. But you do what you want, and I'll do what I want. Now, when it comes to the government, we'll vote over that stuff and we'll see what happens. But it's not a right. I'm sorry, it's not. And if you say my body, my choice, don't give me that shit because you guys were all over us about the vaccines. That's dumb. But it's just, it's really shitty that they demonize Tony Dungy for, expressing his beliefs when, a bunch of people are like, well, I'm for Black Lives Matter, capital BLM, which is a Marxist terrorist group who, burn cities down and all that stuff. And they're commies. Like, if you go to their website, they're fucking commies. Okay? So, but if you voice that opinion, everybody's like, oh yeah, right on, brother. It's just dumb. Most of you people are dumb. That's what's infuriating. Is that dumb people get a say in shit. Let's see. Oh, okay. So I don't know if you guys have been following this, this like Steven Crowder Daily Wire thing. But let me give you a little background. So I don't know if you know who Steven Crowder is, but he's a conservative media personality or conservative content creator, media person. I'm gonna call them all the same, okay? And he's He's not on like Fox News. I mean, he might be sometimes, but he's the one that goes to like college campuses and sits at a table with a sign that says like rape culture is a myth. Okay, changed my mind. And no one ever changes his mind because they all just come in yelling. And he, I mean, admittedly, most of the people that participate are at a slight disadvantage because he comes prepared with like actual facts and stuff. He has a group of minions to do research and things and prove his point. And these people on these college campuses that step up and they're going to be like, oh yeah, rape culture is a thing. They're not prepared. They don't have any facts. They just go off of their emotions, which is, you know, you lose that way. Um, so I don't know, man. It is what it is. And like I said, I agree with him like 99% of the time. Okay, because again, I'm not gonna get into this now, but all those change my minds thing he's right about. And then he did a show, Louder with Crowder. There was an hour and a half, and an hour of it he would repost on YouTube because he was demonetized on YouTube because he said things YouTube didn't like. And then the other half was behind a pay, or the other 30 minutes was behind a paywall, the Mug Club, where he said the things that YouTube definitely didn't like. The reason they demonetized him. He's been demonetized from YouTube forever. Okay. Now the Daily Wire is the Jeremy boring guy. He does Jeremy's Razors, um, and then Matt Walsh and those guys. Okay, and they're a conservative, I guess you would say, online media group because they don't have a channel like Fox News. But Fox News is, I mean, Jesus Christ, they're not really conservative anymore. Okay, or yeah, conservative. But the Daily Wire is a conservative publication that is, I would say, online because they don't have a TV channel. And Crowder did his own thing on YouTube and Rumble and things like that. So what all happened was, I guess the Daily Wire reached out to Crowder and said, "Hey man, we want to sign you on as a personality or whatever you want to call it, and we'll give you 50 million for 4 years." Okay, and Crowder read the contract and rejected it. And Crowder went on to YouTube or Louder with Crowder, whatever. I saw it on YouTube and said, "Hey, look, this is," and he didn't mention any names. Okay, he didn't mention Daily Wire or anybody. He just said, "I feel a little betrayed because I was presented with this contract from a quote conservative media outlet, and it's not really what I'm looking for, and it's really they're in bed with what we're fighting against." And I guess the premise is we're fighting against, big government, big tech censoring, all that stuff. And this contract is basically in bed with big tech. Okay. And he read things that were like, hey, you need to continue to produce, 4 shows a week, hour and a half at the same quality that you've always done it. But here's the caveat: you can't get demonetized from YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any of that. Like you can't break their rules. Or we're gonna charge you and fine you out of the contract. And I mean big fines, man. We're talking like 100,000 a day, 250,000 per instance. Like you'll eat that 17 million a year pretty not even what is it, like 15? No, 12 and a half mil a year, 50 mil over 4 years, whatever. That'll eat that up pretty quick. Um, and so this is again a little complex, and you have to do some not some mental gymnastics like a liberal, but you have to do a little bit of jumping around. That so I guess what Crowder's argument is he thought we were all kind of in this fight together, like we're against big tech and we're against the censorship and you know we're not going to play into their hand. And then the Daily Wire comes back with this contract that says, "Hey, look, we're kind of just in it for the money, so we need to just bend over, and whatever YouTube, Facebook, and all these guys say, is against their community guidelines, you need to stay within there." but also do your show at the same quality and the same content that you've always done it at, which his content is what has got him demonetized from YouTube. And he's actually fighting against big tech. And, the Daily Wire is actually in bed with them. Like, yes, they do promote a conservative side, but they're doing it through big tech, which is unarguably left. So I mean, that's pretty shady, you know? Like I know that they're the only place available to make money online. Okay? I understand because, and then the Daily Wire had Jeremy read the full contract and like explain it line by line, which he says Crowder didn't understand all of it, so he tried to explain it and he kept going back to like money, money, money. And Crowder was doing like principle, principle, principle. Okay, but the Daily Wire spoke up and said, "Oh yeah, this is our contract. This is what we did. This is what we sent to him, and blah blah blah, money, money, money." And Crowder was like principle, principle, principle. And the first video he did was pretty. I mean, I'm okay with that because he didn't name any names or anything. But then the Daily Wire, stepped up and said, "Oh yeah, that was us." So they outed themselves. No problem. They're coming from again two different aspects. Like one's money, money, money. The other one's principle, principle, principle. But then Crowder today or yesterday may have stepped over and kind of did like I guess he had called them back after backing out or just saying I'm not going to sign this and got them to say some things on a phone conversation that he was recording, and none of it was necessarily like super damning. It was just he didn't say he was recording, or maybe he did and they still said it, or but then he played that for us, and he was like, well, yeah, it's about the money, it's just business. Okay, it's just business. The Daily Wire said this, and okay, so I mean, the way I see it is that the Daily Wire is a little bit selling their soul for business. Like, yeah, I know you want to pretend to be conservative and stuff, but we still have to use these liberal platforms to make money. And we're going to have to fall in line with them. And what Crowder's saying is that no, I don't care about the money. It's about the principle. And I don't want to be silenced about this stuff. Now, was it shitty of him to record the phone conversation and then play it? Yes. Is it shittier of the Daily Wire to be all about the money? And yes, again, the only avenues are YouTube, Facebook, and places like that. But instead of like, I mean, I think the Daily Wire is saying if you can't beat them, join them. And Crowder's saying we have to beat them. It's not a matter of if you can't, it's we have to. So we need to, but I think what Crowder either understands or doesn't is that at this point we can't beat them because they are so in bed with the government. It's not even funny. Like Amazon runs every website on the planet. Amazon Web Services runs like all of them. So if you piss off Bezos, he will shut down your internet everywhere. Okay, you'll be in the dark. You'll be back in the Stone Age. So, and that's different. That's like web hosting, like hosting the actual website. That's what happened to Parler. Is that they were not on board, and Bezos was like, okay, I will just remove you from the face of this planet. And where the problem is that we have like big tech is in bed with the Democrats, okay? So they can do whatever they want. And now you could go out and start your own web hosting service, but you don't have that kind of money. I don't think anybody is willing to piss that money away. You could also try and do another platform and maybe kind of stay within the lines because Amazon Web Services is a little bit more lenient than actual YouTube. Okay, so you could maybe start your own YouTube, but again, that's kind of difficult. They've tried Parler, Trump tried Truth Social, all that, and it's not nearly as big as Twitter. Now that Elon has Twitter, it's in better hands and things like that. But YouTube is still in Google, which is Amazon. Um, Facebook is still Zucky, and which is still Google and Amazon, and they're all Instagram. Okay, so you can't really get out from under it. And what Crowder's argument is, if you can't beat them, try harder. And the Daily Wire is like, well, if you can't beat them, join them, but still act like you're conservative, you know? And that's what I think the Daily Wire is doing, and Crowder's not. And again, the Daily Wire, they're right. It is just business. And that's where your sense of principle and morals and, shit come in, and Crowder's sticking to his gun saying, hey, on principle and my morals, I'm not doing this. And the Daily Wire said, well, our principles and morals are a little more lenient than yours. Not saying they're wrong, but we're going to get in bed with big tech and just try and stay enough in the guidelines so we can still make money off of our enemy while not really doing anything to solve the problem. So if I feed the fire gun in my head, I'm going with Crowder on this. I mean, I think it was shitty that he recorded them without their knowledge and then played it for everyone. But and then the Daily Wire is like, well, we would never do that. We don't, we wouldn't do that to ABC ever, and our friends. And it's like, yeah, I mean, maybe you guys wouldn't, but you also are stabbing a lot of us in the back by placating to big tech. And I know that's the only one of the only ways to get your voice out. But I mean, do you change your principles because that's, the deal is like, hey, change your principles and we'll let you on the internet? Or do you keep your principles and figure something else out? And the Daily Wire is changing their principles to stay on the internet and make money. And Crowder is keeping to his principles, and he may not be on the internet and may not make money. But, you know, at the end of the day, I mean, God, and again, I hate to get religious, but God's not going to be like, hey, man, how much money did you make? He'll be like, well, did you stick to your principles? And I'm not saying that Crowder's principles are Christian or anything like that, but I mean, that's kind of the, hey, to bring it back, Martin Luther King said, hey, let's judge people on the content of their character. And right now, while Crowder did a couple not great character wise things, he's kind of sticking with his, the content of his character, and the Daily Wire's kind of selling out for money. Which again, I know it's just business, but I mean, at what point do we draw a line? You know, or do we draw a line, or is it just business? And eventually we're all just going to be lefty wackos. Which that'll bring me into the next, and then we'll get out of here because the abs are almost on. Um, Speaking of Facebook, and I believe Instagram too, they have changed their, I guess, nudity policy. I don't think it's nudity because it's breasts, okay? And they've changed their policy that if you're a woman, you cannot put topless pictures up. But if you're non-binary or trans, you can post pictures of your breasts. And huh. I mean, just think about that, okay? And I mean, there's a lot of lingo in there, like self-identifying. So if the I guess the cis girls were smart. I'm not saying they're not, but they would just say I self identify as non-binary. Here's my tits. Um, but if you're a man who transitioned to a woman and had breast implants, it's okay for you to say, here's my tits, but a biological woman can't. I mean, do you guys not see how absolutely batshit fucking crazy that is? I mean, that's the dumbest thing. one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life. That if you were born a dude and you had a surgery that put like tits on you, you can show those boobs on Facebook and Instagram. But if you were born a woman, you cannot show your tits on Facebook and Instagram. Or if you're a woman and you identify as not self identify, like you just have to say it. If you're a woman and you self identify as non binary, you can show your tits on Facebook and Instagram. But if you're a woman and you don't identify as non binary, you can't. I mean, again, this is where you lose me if you're even remotely on the left. Because it's not like, well, I don't believe that part of the left, agenda. That's not the point, dipshit. If you vote for Democrats, you get their whole coalition of fucking crazy. And this is part of it. I mean, honest question here. Do you want to cut Social Security for everyone or indulge in this kind of crazy shit? I'd much rather we have old people dying in the streets because they're starving and have no food because they don't get Social Security than indulge this kind of crazy shit. And I know that's drastic. Okay, but that's your argument about the Republicans. They want to cut Medicare and Medicaid and all this. Oh my God, they're so horrible. First of all, they don't want to do any of that. They just want to quit spending money. Okay, and we don't have to spend that much money. That is the most wasteful crap in the world. Okay, but I mean, what do Republicans do that is so bad compared to what the left is doing? You're literally grooming children, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 year olds into drag shows, gay, non bi, all this shit. I don't see how you don't see a problem with this. The kid is fucking 8. He doesn't know or she doesn't know whether she's gay, straight, purple, green, black, white, and you just ramming this crap down their throat is going to fuck them up for life. They're kids. Sexuality should not even cross their goddamn minds until they got hair. Places other than her head. You know what I mean? Puberty. If you're a preschool teacher and you're sharing your sexuality with your kids, you're a fucking monster. Okay? If you're celebrating your abortion, you're a fucking monster. You are the scum of the earth. And that is what you get when you vote for Democrats. And again, there are some moderate Democrats. I understand that. But there are some batshit fucking crazy ones. And you don't get a pick. It's all or nothing, unfortunately. And, well, Dutch, what about the racist Republicans? You're right. If you vote Republican, it's an all or nothing thing, and you might get some KKK guys in there, okay, who are not too fond of black people. But in our own party, we're, fighting that and saying, hey, racism isn't probably the best option. Let's not be racist. Let's not do this. Let's not do that. But the Democrats in their own party are not fighting sexualizing children. They're on board with it. They're on board with letting someone identify as like fish self. That is the craziest shit in the goddamn world. It's time to pick a side. You have logical reality, fucking reality. And again, yes, there are racists, and they tend to be on our side, on the conservative side, okay? That's reality. There's no such thing as fish, wolf, cat, dog, self. That's not reality. Just because you identify as it doesn't make it true. If I was 12, fuck me, man, I would have been like, I identify as 21, give me a beer. And by the Democrat standards, you should have given me a beer. Well, that's different. No, it's not. Age is a physical thing, like, you know. Now it just so happens that, we've named years or once around the sun and things like that. We could say, 10 times around the sun is once, and you got to go 30 times around and so you can drink. I mean, that's arbitrary, the actual number. But, we also had laws that were like man, woman, blah, blah, blah. And people are like, not anymore. So why can't I self identify as 65 and start taking Social Security right now? Because that's crazy. But if I self identify as a non binary woman, I can show my tits. But if I identify as a regular woman, not for me. No. I wonder when it's going to be the point that, like, if some tranny chick, like if you're a chick and you somehow got a dick attached, if you want to show your dick on Facebook, okay. But if I want to show mine, I mean, where do we draw the line? This is actually becoming a fucking crazy town. Yeah, but then again, we've already been over this. It it's an all or nothing thing, and I'm just saying that all of our evils are far less than than the left's fucking crazy evils. So it's time to pick a side because this is getting absolutely uncontrollably out of hand. Again, Facebook is going to let a dude who got breast implants, and I guess there's some doctors that could probably do a pretty good job and they look just like a woman's. Okay? That dude can show his tits on Facebook, but some girl can't. That's fucking crazy. And you guys should be ashamed of yourself. You should be embarrassed and you should be scratching your head like, how the fuck did I get my head so far up my ass that this is where I'm at? I mean, really? How the fuck did we get here? All right, I got nothing left. Avs are almost on. You guys piss me off. Um, let's see. The Witcher playthrough probably is going to start Monday during the day. It may start tomorrow if I get bored, or Sunday if I get bored. And it's killing me not to start it now. But I'm warning you, I have not played in years. We're going to do a new game plus, so it'll be like starting at the beginning of the story, but I'm going to have some skills and stuff, hopefully. I'm going to use somebody else's build. I will give them credit, hopefully, and we will roll from there. Phil's hopping on Skyrim. I don't know when, but we'll go from there. So yeah, games coming up. Avs tonight in a couple minutes, and I'm super excited. I hope they do well, and I'll catch you guys maybe tomorrow, maybe Sunday, definitely Monday. Until next time, bye.